Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel for another video. So we have seen how to search a patient, update, delete, and how to validate. And basically only the necessary operation for Spring MVC. Now we will see how to work with Spring Security and how to add a authentication system in your app and to allow only the authenticated users to access the resources of the app. And we will also, within the authenticated user, create two types of them. Let's add this dependency here. You shouldn't add a version here because it will be added based on the Spring we are working with. And we should add this also Thymeleaf extras Spring Security 5 for Thymeleaf to work with Spring Security. Now, let's go into our hospital application on Java and let's run our application and see what will happen. So now let's go into the browser and let's access our index page. And as you see here, we got a login form provided from Spring Security. So by default, Spring give you a user with username user and a generated password given here in the terminal, which is this. So let's copy it and see. Copy then, let's paste here, and let's type user here and sign in. Let's don't save it. And as you see, I have the right to access our app now, and I can do whatever I want. I can edit the patient, I can do any operation I want, but we don't want that. But before we do further customize of Spring Security, let's explain what happened. So in an app without a Spring Security, every request is heading toward a dispatcher servlet. So if we add Spring Security, we will add a filter. So in Java Enterprise Edition, we have servlet and filter. So every HTTP request will go to Spring Security filter first, and then the filter will check if the resource requires a authentication. If so, he will display, let me say, the Spring Security will display the login form and give you the name, the username, and the password. Then the filter will validate to see if the user exists. If so, he will start a new session to the user, and if the user is permissible to the resource requested, Spring Security will allow him. So now let's go and customize our Spring Security configuration. Here into hospital, let's add a new folder and name it, for example, config. Now inside config, we will add a class and name it sec config Java. And as I mentioned, it's a configuration class, so we need to add the annotation configuration here provided by Spring Framework context annotation. So now we will add a enable web security here provided by Spring Security to tell the Spring that to enable the security of the web. And this configuration annotation will create the this class will instantiate, let me say, the when the application started, to tell Spring the basic configuration he should, let me say, use it in order to secure our application. So now let's extend this class, which name it web security configurer adapter. And within this class, let's override two methods. The first one is configure with authentication manager builder, and the second one with HTTP security. So let's type OK. And here, this method is used, let me say, to tell Spring let me say, will precise how Spring Security will search the users and the role. And if we use Spring Security, for example, with, let me say, database or in memory, so we will begin with the simplest one, which is in memory, which means I will create the user here in this method, and it will be stored in memory. So basically, this type of method is used to test the application before launching it. So without further ado, let's get started. Here, let's type auth, and let me say, let's now add with user, not with user, in memory, sorry, the type of the security we want. Now with user, make sure with user is just with string username from user details builder. So here, let's name it, for example, user1 and password. Here, if we type, for example, a simple password such as 1234, and we will have a problem, and I will launch the application to see it. And now let's add has a role, for example, here role, and let's make the role user here. Now let's add, for example, another one. Let's add dot here, and with user another time, and let's name it admin. Here, password, for example, it's 1234, and here roles admin. Now let's save this, and let's go to this method, and let's make HTTP form login here. And if we want, for example, to customize our form login, let's add a login page, and we can type here, for example, the URL of the login page we want. Now we don't have that, so we won't use it. We will use only the login provided by Spring. Now let's add HTTP, then authorize the request here, and we will add any request authenticated. Here basically we are telling Spring Security to authenticate every request here received. Now let's go and test our application once again. Here the application will work because the session is not yet over. So now let's go here to our layout, into login logout here. Let's add href. Let's add annotation here, logout provided by Spring Security. And now let's retest. Here logout, as you see, are you sure you want to log out? This is provided by Spring Security. So let's end the session and log out. Here we make two users. We create two users, sorry. The first one is user1 and 1234. So let's test and see if this will work. So user1 and 1234. So as you see here, the credentials are bad, and we didn't successfully log in. So basically the reason here is because Spring Security use a password encoder to encode the password, and then see if this password match or not. So in our case, we didn't do that. We can simply tell Spring to ignore that by adding this no inside this, and now we can test and see. So here, mix do observe. Now let's remove this to test again. It was wrong in the first place. So here, let's type login. So user 1 and 1234. And as I said, it was a bad credential. So let's test now. Now let's type once again user 1 and 1234. And we will now be successfully login. So let's type index. So here the problem is by default, Spring security, once it's successfully login, it redirect you here to the localhost 8084. But by default, our homepage is within the index URL. So let's add success, default success URL, not this one, default success URL, and let's name it index. So now let's go to the index page and the session and retest. Let's log out and the session, and let's test once again user 1 1234. So as you see here, it worked as we wanted to. So now it's not ideal to work with this, because in real-time application and the real project, you will store the password in the database and it will be encoded for a security reason. So we will do here another trick, and we will add here bin annotation and password encoder. Here password encoder. Then we will use bcrypt as a encoding algorithm. Bcrypt, which is encoder. Let's see here. It's bcrypt. Let's see. Bcrypt. Let's search it in the web. Sorry, I didn't see it. So here, bcrypt Spring security. Let's go here. And it's bcrypt. I type it wrong here. So let's paste this here. And it's like that. So I forgot to move here because it's an object. We are going to return an object here. So let's import this bcrypt encoder. Let's import it here, bcrypt encoder. And now here, basically, we are telling Spring to create an object with bcrypt password encoder once the application started. So here in the configure method, we are going to create a new password encoder object. Let's name it encoder, new password encoder. New here bcrypt encoder, password encoder, sorry. Now let's go here, remove this, and let's go here, string encoded password, and here encoder dot encode, and here we will pass 1234. So now let's copy this and paste it here and here. And now let's restart our application and test once again. Here, localhost at 8084/index. Let's log out. Test once again. User 1 and 1234. And as you see, it worked successfully. And if we want to check if the password is encoded or not, let's print it in the console. Here, that's printed, which is encoded password. And now let's test once again. Here, let's close the session with logout. And here, user 1 and 1234 and sign in. Let's see here. The password wasn't printed. Let's see the problem. Here, for example, encoded. Yep. Plus encoded. Let's retype. Here, let's log out and test once again. User 1, for example, login. User 1 and 1234. On save. Let's go here. Let's search encoded, and as you see here, the password was encoded successfully. So now let's go once again and let's, for example, make this delete operation only accessible for the admin and only the admin. So let's go here to the home.html, but before that, let's go into the layout, and in this, let's add a new href here, and let's make it, for example, a let's remove this, and here let's add sec.authenticated equal a, and let's remove this. So basically, we are going to display the user which was authenticated here, and we will display his name. So let's test once again. Log out here. So user 1 and 1234, and it's not displayed here. So I guess that were a problem here. Authenticated name. So I guess I forgot here something. Let's see. Authenticated. Let's test once again. Log out. Name here. Let's see what is the problem. Authenticated. Authenticated. I don't see the problem here. Let's test again. No. Let's make it spam, for example. Let's refresh the page. Let's log out. Use 1 and 1234. Not displayed here. I guess that there was a problem. So here. Now let's ignore this for a moment, and for example, once the user is authenticated, let's make this security. Then let's add a authenticated authorized here is authenticated. So if the user is not authenticated, this will be displayed, else it will not. So let's copy this and paste it here. This will be displayed if the user is authenticated. And let's add this thref for logic. Let's make this login. So let's refresh this. So there was a problem here. Let's see. Here the problem is authenticated href. Here there was a problem. It's here. Now let's refresh the page and see. So now it works. As you see now, only the logout is visible. Now let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. User 1, user 1, and 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you see, only the logout is visible because the session of the user is started, and the user is authenticated. So now let's go to the home.html, and here, for example, let's make the delete here only visible for the admin. So sec.authenticated or not authenticated, authorized add role admin. Admin. And also let's make it the same for this edit. And now let's go to the browser and test once again. Index. And as you see, it's disappeared because this user is only a normal user. Let's log in as a admin. So admin 1, 2, 3, 4, and have a bad credential here. Admin and 1, 2, 3, 4. And as you see now, it's clearly visible for the admin. Let's do the same for this. Let's go here and let's paste it. And here, and let's paste it. And now let's go to the browser and do the same. Let's log out and sign in as user 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So as you see here, none of the create or delete is visible to the user 1. Now a new patient is still visible to the user 1. So let's make it invisible to him. So let's go to the layout and do the same story here. So let's refresh the page and see now. And as you see, the new user disappeared. But we still got a problem here. As you see in the controller, we made the delete here and the add and everything with get mapping. So if one user get here and, for example, use a delete here, delete, and make the ID, for example, 2, it will work. Here we made a slightly a problem. Let's add the page and the keyword. Here, for example, let's add this keyword, make it empty. And as you see, the user 2 deleted, which is not good in our case. And to make this even safer, let's go to this Spring security config here, and Let's add HTTP authorize request here. HTTP authorize request and matcher here, matcher and matcher here, and we will make here copy this controller URL, and let's go once again to this and paste it. Here basically telling Spring Security that everything that pursue the lead tool should be also considered. Here we should add also the save form, the save, and the edit and the update. Let's paste them here. So let's copy it and here, save, edit, right here, edit, update, and what else here? We got save, edit, update, save form, and save here. Save here, and here. Here we don't have any URL that come next after the save, update, edit, or everything here. But in case you have, you should add this. This is optional for us here, but let's add it to make it even better and for the best practice. Here, if you want to make it more organized, you can make this, for example, admin, and this also admin and admin, etc. Or for example, let's make it this only admin. So you should delete all of this and just write here admin like this, and then delete all of these. And you should go here to the patient controller and add admin in front every one of these. But we will keep it this way for this video. So now let's go to before this, let's make the exception page customized here. So HTTP except handling here, and access denied page, and for example here in our case it's 403. Now let's create a new controller here in the web. Let's name it, for example, tech controller .java, and here let's add get mapping /403, then public string access denied, here return 403. So let's go here in the templates and let's add 403.html, and here let's type h1 access denied. Add here here access denied, and here let's add style color red. Highlight that this is an error. So let's go here once again and let's test if this works. So now, as we did before. Let's make this delete and ID equal, for example, 2 and page 0 and keyword, for example, like this, and it's still deleted, so we got a problem here. Get controller is missing, controller here is missing. So now let's refresh the app and test once again. So now let's go to the browser and test. So let's do the same here. Delete ID equal to 2 and page 0, and so our method, our security didn't work. So let's see here what is the problem and match. So here we forgot something, so we didn't add the role. So here we add has role, and the role should be admin. So now it should work. Let's retest in the browser. Here, let's test. Delete ID, then for example 2, and as you see here, we got the access denied page, which is 403 here in our case. Now let's go once again to the index page. Index, log out, close the section, and log in as a admin. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here basically just another one thing remaining, which is adding the username in the home here, in the layout, sorry. And here previously it didn't work, so let's see the problem here. So sec authenticated name, select authenticated. Here let's see in the browser if I type it wrong. So let's go here, sec authenticated, and let's see here. So let's go down here and sec authentication, sorry, I type it wrong. So let's copy this, and now it should work. So let's go here, let's paste it, and now let's open the browser and see. And now we see clearly that this is the authenticated user, and our app worked as it should. So let's log in as user 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and sign in. And now it's user 1 and our app worked as it should. So this is all for our app now, guys, and thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. So thank you and goodbye.